Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my best of drugstore inexpensive makeup for 2018. I thought today I would go ahead and do my Boxycharm awards, but so many people are still voting and are still unsure how to vote in the community tab. I thought I would mention this one more time to give you guys more of an opportunity. If you do follow my Boxycharm best and worst videos, I also do the Boxycharm awards. So actually go to my channel. Right underneath my name and my subscriber count, you'll be able to see the words home, videos, playlists, and then the word community. You do not have to be a creator to have this tab. Everyone can see it that is subscribed to me. So you just kind of go on there, and that's where you can enter for the giveaway that I'm doing with the Wet n Wild brushes and vote for the Boxycharm awards. So I thought I'd give that a little bit more time so you guys could get in all of your votes. But today I have so much makeup in front of me. It's kind of excessive, and it is all my drugstore and inexpensive makeup for 2018 that I adore. I even have a few things written down because I need to repurchase some things that I have completely used up. So let's get into this best of for 2018. If you are new to my channel, hi new friend! I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below to see all of the fun, loud, weird, unique videos that I put out every single week. I did this really bold purple look today for you guys because so many of you were saying you wanted to see more bold purple, blue, crazy looks, less reds and oranges, and some more color. So I went purple today for you with a palette that I'm going to be talking about. But where I want to start today is talking about the base, like how I start my makeup when I sit down here at my vanity. What do I reach for first? The way I start my face is with a primer. Every single day that I'm doing my makeup, I'll always put on a primer. And I'm completely out of my Wet n Wild primers, which tells you I love it. I think I've repurchased it like 3 or 4 times since I've gotten it. There's a dewy and there's a matte, and then there's like a regular. I really like the matte, but I also just can do well with the regular too. I think that primer is amazing, and that is definitely one of my tops for 2018. It's so much that I've used it up and I need a new one. Something else that I do have in my collection that I've talked about is the ColourPop All-Star Primer. This is a matte and blur primer. People weren't sure how they felt about it when this first came out, and I understand that. It really is going to depend on your skin type. For me, I can use this and I don't have any pilling. I don't have any issues putting on my foundation or wear time, but I do know there are some people that did not like this because they said when they applied it, it kind of pilled on them. What I like about this is that it kind of comes out looking like glue, but when you put it on, it has a nice even spread to it, whereas some of the other primers that I've tried are a little bit more thick and you have to use a lot more of the product to kind of like get in there, and I just don't know how well it is for my pores because I am really sensitive and I break out easy. This is something that I've actually really liked, but I will say I prefer the Wet n Wild. So if I'm going to do one or the other, I'm going to go with Wet n Wild. That's probably why I'm out of it. But this is what I've been reaching for weeks and weeks since I ran out of my Wet n Wild, and I've had no blemishes, no breakouts, and my makeup holds up like a champ. But one I did not like using this with, just as just a little fun side note for you, if you're wanting a little tea on the worst. I didn't plan to do a worst this year, but I don't like this primer from ColourPop with the ColourPop foundation. This for me was a dud this year, and that was really how I think a lot of people tried it. It's absolutely how I tried it. I bought them at the same time, put one on and the next, and I didn't like it at all, but I think it's mostly this foundation. This works well. The next thing I'm going to talk about is foundations, and there are 2 standouts for me that I feel like I've talked about a lot this year, and next year I'm gonna make it my mission to try more items, go out of my comfort zone. There's some definite things that I wanna try that I just kind of haven't because I was trying so many other pieces of makeup, but something that works really well for my oily skin that is kind of sensitive and is prone to breakouts are 2 drugstore foundations that are pretty inexpensive. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation you've heard me talk about before. I'm wearing this on my face today. It has a few drawbacks for me personally. I'm not a huge fan of the spatula or the smell, but this does a great medium to heavy coverage. But if you want that heavy full coverage, you do have to layer up quite a bit. At least I do. The one that really kicks its butt a lot for me sometimes though is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1. I have a backup here of this because I was traveling and I knew one of them was low, but this is the 03 Light Beige 2-in-1 concealer foundation combo. I love this. It really gives me a full coverage look. Like if you're only wanting something kind of medium to heavy, this will be too much for you. But this shade, the light beige shade, goes really well with my skin. It goes well with my skin color, and it really wears beautifully on my skin. And I have fine lines on my forehead, in between my eyebrows. This will actually hold up really well compared to some other heavier foundations that I've tried that are that full coverage look. Now, I can say as an oily girl, I will get oilier with this before I'll get oily with this. So keep that in mind if it is like that summertime or your skin is just crazy oily that time of month or whatever is going on. This helps keep my matteness intact. Whereas this still does a great job, but this will be the first one to start showing some shininess here and here on me personally. But that doesn't deter me from using it because I'm very powder based. I have way too many powders I'm going to be talking about soon that I love to use. So I'm obsessed with both of these, but this is the one I'm gravitating to a lot lately. But I think in the holidays, I just like that full coverage look. Concealers for me this year, I tried a few, and I've mentioned a couple that I really enjoyed this year. But one that is a drugstore, sort of drugstore. It's inexpensive. When you say drugstore, you can't buy this in Walgreens or CVS or Rite Aid, but you can get it really inexpensive. So for me, that counts. I am obsessed with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Still to this day, I think it's amazing. I compared this eons ago to the Tarte Shape Tape, and it kicked its butt for me, price-wise and formula-wise. I also like how this brightens underneath my eyes because I will occasionally get some of those circles under my eyes where I look tired because I'm tired, and I really love this. I've tried some other things this year, like I have a Wet n Wild in my drawer. I have a few other things that I'm finishing up, but they were not nearly as good as this for me. I have a few other high-end ones that I've tried that I like as well, but I put this up against my expensive concealers, and this still does the trick for me. I'm wearing this today, and I forgot how much it brightens under my eyes, and I really like it. Mine is in the shade Light 16 if you are curious. Powders for me were something I would do next in my makeup routine, and like I said, I have oily skin, so for me, powders are super important, and I feel like I've tried a lot. The two that I like to start with are a Coty Airspun. I have two different ones in front of me here. This one's naturally neutral, and this one is translucent. I learned this year I actually like the naturally neutral a bit better for when I am setting underneath the eyes, because I feel like it also gives some slight coverage. It actually helps just give some more coverage to that under eye area where I personally need some assistance. But I also still really like the loose translucent for just kind of like setting the face. These are drugstore. You can get these in Walgreens. I couldn't find them for a really long time. I learned when you're looking at the makeup wall, at least in every Walgreens I've ever been to, it's not on the wall that has the most makeup. You literally turn around and that's where these are always hidden. So keynote if you're looking for them. The smell does put off some people though. It doesn't bother me. Another powder that I was introduced to this year became a cult favorite for me, and I traveled recently for work and it shattered, so I'm a little disappointed, but I already have a new one in my cart to buy a new one because I don't know if alcohol will fix this, but I could try it. This is my Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder. This stuff is amazing. I love to go in with this with kind of a fluffier flat brush and really press this into the parts of my face that I know get the oiliest. This is great to hold your ish together. In the first half of the day, you don't even have to think about it. And if you're an oily girl, you know it's about that afternoon time that you start to struggle and start to be like, oh, where's my compact? I gotta check. This is still something you could go in with later in the day, and it will absolutely help put you back together. It's amazing. I adore it. Another powder that I found this year that I've kind of compared to some of my higher end powders as far as a compact goes is my e.l.f. finishing powder. This is just a little compact here. There's only 3 shades there. There's like a light, a medium, and a dark. I thought I could get away with like the medium shade. Oh, no. I needed the light. I actually purchased it in medium, tried to use it. It was still too dark for me, even though it was like July. So I gifted that to a friend and I went back and bought the light one. That's how much I really liked this. This will give you some great coverage. It's great for stamping out any oils. It's great for giving you a little bit more coverage. I think it is awesome, and it's great for touch-ups. The first thing to break apart on me every day, no matter what's going on, is my nose. My nose is the first thing to kind of like slowly break apart from puppy kisses, face touching, all the other random things that go on in my day. If I'm running out the door, I will literally just grab this, pop this in here, or grab, again, a powder brush, dip into it, go straight on that area, and it's fully covered again. I'm ready to go. love this, and it's so inexpensive. Something that I just recently started talking about on my channel is a CoverGirl powder. I don't really like to talk about products that aren't cruelty-free on my channel, and this is something I've had for a while that I was trying to use up just when CoverGirl announced they were going cruelty-free. And they have an amazing fixing powder for my oily skin that I keep in my purse like it was my wallet. I need this with me all the time. It is the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance 115 Classic Beige Pressed Powder. I have hit so much pan on this because I've had it for so long. I was trying to use it up before I tried to find a dupe or something else. And then I'm so glad that they announced they were going cruelty free so I could actually talk about it and use it and go buy a fresh one. I use this with the little pad it came with while I'm out traveling. I feel like I'm adding so much powder to my face in the beginning of this video. I better not be oily by the end of it. That's for sure. I use this for all kinds of touch-ups. Nose, creases under the eyes, anything where I've like been eating and something's dripped on my face and I'm like, oh, you slob, put yourself together. I can put this back on my face and I'm good to go. This stuff is amazing, and it really helps bring your makeup back to life if you've kind of had a long day. You know what I'm talking about, those really long days? Love this so much. As far as brows go, there are two items from the drugstore or inexpensive that I have really loved this year. I don't have any on me and I need to repurchase it, but the ColourPop Brow Boss. It is so thin, but it can get in there and give you all of those fine hairs that you need to rebuild in those bald spots in those weird areas where you're like, why doesn't this look right? You know what I'm talking about. I love that pencil. It does have a tendency to break on the end though. The woolly part of it will just kind of like break off into the little cap. So just be mindful of that. A lot of us had that struggle this year, but the pencil, totally worth dealing with that because it's amazing. Also really started to enjoy the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara. I got this in the shade Brunette, and I like to use this as a topper after I've used a pencil on my eyebrows, kind of like building them up, just kind of like a final touch to kind of give it a little bit more natural wispiness or a little bit more color. Put this on. I can just take the little wand, it's literally like a mascara for your brows, run it through lightly, and I'm good to go. And it kind of gives it a little bit of color dimension too, because now I can't always get a perfect match for my pencil. So it's kind of nice to give it a little bit of variety because it's like your hair. It's never gonna be one toned. The next thing we should talk about is some bronzers. I adore bronzers. For me, that was like my contour before I knew what a contour was. It helps to kind of give some dimension to the face. I have a very squarish, roundish face, so it's nice to be able to give yourself a little bit of cheekbone. You know, the stuff God forgot to give you. And sometimes contour your nose with it too. I have a bunch in front of me, and I have one, again, a casualty from all of my travels, and this was a limited item, so I've got to get some alcohol and try to fix this. This is my Wet n Wild bronzer from the limited edition Queensland. I really liked this. This was just brown and red enough that it went really well with my skin tone, kind of whatever time of year it was. That's why I traveled with it, and I wasn't expecting it to break because I've taken my highlighters that are in this same form with me traveling. I've never had that issue. So I was pretty sad to see that this busted up. I have never had a Wet n Wild bronzer until this year too. I was shocked with how well this went on. I like when you put something on and you can see some pigment, but then you can also build it and it doesn't get muddy, it doesn't get patchy. I really, really like this, and I need to fix it. So I don't think I can buy this anymore. I sound like a broken record, and I bought a lot of Physicians Formula this year, so I'm not going to talk about this too much, especially with how long this video is going to be. Butter bronzers, I have two new ones this year. This one is the new Sunkissed shade that we didn't have before. This has a little bit more of a red tone to it, at least on my skin. And I think it does beautifully when I have a little bit of a tan. If I'm a little too pale, I feel like it might be a bit much, so I go in with a lighter hand. But that's what's beautiful about this, is you can do that. And then I have the original bronzer as well. There's a lot of pan on this particular one, but I also have another version of this in the Physicians Formula Butter Collection that I got earlier this year. So I'm coming out of my ears with some Physicians Formula, and I'm not sorry. A pricier bronzer that is still drugstore shocked me this year because I think I bought it last year and just wasn't into it. And then this year I really started getting more creative with my makeup and trying new things, and I discovered like about the summertime, I was really, really enjoying it. And this is the number 7 Maple Bronzer. This is more of like a cool toned bronzer. I usually gravitate to something that I feel like has a lot more warm undertones. This didn't have that, and I think that's why originally I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I really like this. I find this gives me a very natural look. And I guess the other reason is I didn't know it was go with natural looks, so that's another thing. This gives me a nice natural bronze to me. It doesn't look like I'm wearing makeup. I have a blush that I have had for so long that it is amazing, and I've hit so much pan on it. And if you are newer to my channel, you may not know that's shocking because I'm not a blush girl. I actually stumbled across this eons ago, knew that I loved it, found out later after I'd been using it for a while that it's technically a dupe for the NARS Orgasm. Had no clue that e.l.f. came to play with their Candid Coral Blush. I have so much pan on this that I think I may be doing a Project Pan in 2019, and I might just try to finish this baby up and then get a new one. I'm actually wearing it today. It's a super subtle blush, but you can build it kind of like the butter bronzer. You can go as bold with it as you want. For example, I'm wearing it right now, and you can kind of see it, but if you want to go more with it, you absolutely can. And it definitely, I think this goes with a lot of different skin tones too, which is why I think the NARS Orgasm went over so well when that became a thing. But apparently this is an amazing dupe, and it was like $3. I love inexpensive, don't you? Okay, my highlighters require 2 hands. I mean, it would probably require more because I actually did a curating my highlighter collection earlier this year, so I had to go through a lot of them, but I keep repurchasing highlighters, and I'm obsessed. I have 5, count them, 5. 5? Yeah, 5 Wet n Wild highlighters. Clearly I'm obsessed with this. I started out with the obvious, which is Precious Petals. I've hit pan on this. Everybody loves it. It's a beautiful highlight that really comes to play. It's amazing that a drugstore can have such amazing products out there now. It's like we expect so much more from drugstore because these are fantastic, and these compete with Ofra. I've heard so many people say that. And then the next thing I went into was Botanic Dreams, which has a little bit more of an iridescent-y feel to it. And then on clearance, I got a Blossom Glow that has a little bit more of a light tone. And then, of course, I was getting the limited editions. I ended up getting 2 from the Wet n Wild limited editions. I have Glow Watcher here and Winter Falls in LA. I like these on my face. I like them on the inner corner and then for highlights on the eyes. I love them, and that's 5. And then I still have my Physicians Formula highlighters that I bought this year. These are standouts for me as well. If you cannot break the bank and buy Ofra, if you can't buy Becca, if there are so many things out there that you're like, I want to glow too, but I can't afford those price tags, you don't have to. There are amazing drugstore options. Trust me, sister, I know what I'm talking about. Highlighter that I didn't think I was gonna like as much as I do, but I'm wearing it today and I love it, is the Revolution Triple Baked Highlighter Goddess of Faith. This is a very like cool toned highlighter. This is, I mean, look at that. This highlighter, I mean, look at this. Look at this. You could go crazy with this kind of highlighter. You don't need, look how much product you get in here too. You don't need that much, but I've been powdering my face this whole video, so I figure I should add some shine back in. Look at this. Obsessed. I got this, I think, at like a TJ Maxx on sale. So I don't know if this actually counts as being inexpensive, but it was inexpensive for me, so I'm counting it, and it's amazing. I do have one other thing that's pretty inexpensive, so if you are on a tight budget and you know you still want to get a good highlighter, e.l.f. has some baked blushes that are fantastic. This is an apricot one, and sometimes, yeah, you have to scratch off the top layer because it's a baked highlighter, but it is gorgeous. This goes with a lot of different skin tones too, and I've worn this a ton this year. Again, I think like $3. This is the part of my makeup that I would be going into my eyes, and of course you need brushes to go into your eyes, and this is where I'm going to remind you that I have a giveaway going on right now for these Wet n Wild brushes. I actually own this set and ended up getting a secondary box to gift to you guys for such an amazing year. So be sure to go to my community tab, again, where I told you, go to my actual channel, click on the tab that says community on it, and all you have to do is like the image, comment that you want to be entered, and for a second entry, go to my Instagram and like the image on there as well and comment that you want to be entered. That's all you have to do, and you might win these amazing Wet n Wild brushes. I own this whole collection and I'm obsessed. Really, the only brushes I bought this year were a lot of different types of Wet n Wild brushes. That's how much I really like them. I found this year, which was kind of shocking, I didn't buy as many eyeshadow palettes as I have in years past, which was like, but I have so many more palettes. How did that happen? You know what happened. Boxycharm happened. So I had a lot that I had to kind of go through to decide what did I want to talk about that I thought was still a standout that I purchased from the drugstore. There are a few things in here that I can't live without, and I talk about them a lot. This is the ColourPop palette. I didn't buy as many ColourPop palettes as I did last year, probably because I've been trying to use up what I've got, and you know, Boxycharm. This is the palette. I have used this in some looks that did quick tutorials for you. These are standout formulas. I love these so much, and I love how bold they are. Also, Wet n Wild came out with these little palettes this year. This one is not a basic peach palette. They're really hard to open though. Every time I'm on camera, I can't get them open. This is a great warm palette. Hi, obviously speaks to Nichole, pop of blue, lots of oranges, some transition shades. Really like this. Something that I've not really talked about much though, and I've mentioned it a few times on my channel. It is a single shadow. I think I got it in a 3-pack on Amazon, but you can also buy it at the drugstore. Is a small Wet n Wild single called Brulee. This is a cream shade that I love to start a lot of my eye looks with, because I'll just have it as a start transition, and then I'll work my way up to the brow, so that way whenever, like, you know, your makeup stops here sometimes, you're doing your colorful shadow here, and then you want some skin tone colors there. That's what I use for this, and I am obsessed. I have it in like a 3-pack. Look at that much pan. Look at it! I love it so much! And another eyeshadow palette. This is gonna fall under the inexpensive palettes, but it's awesome, and I just talked about it. I'm wearing it today because so many of you said, go into the purples, please go into the purples. This is my Zodiac Love Signs palette from BH Cosmetics. I put this on for you guys in one of my recent videos, and you guys were like, please go into those purples so I could see what they look like. Today I have on Taurus, Gemini, Sagittarius, Libra. I went into all of the darker shades because you guys had asked me to, and I really, really like it. I think it does a beautiful job of giving me some dimension and these bold shades. I think they're great, and they have so much consistency to them. Something that I loved to wear with this, and when I did a quick little tutorial for you guys with this, I also pulled this out as well. It is the NYX Glitter Primer. The NYX Glitter Primer is something I discovered in the fall of this year, and I just can't live without it now. Anytime I put on any kind of shimmery, amazing shadow on my lid, I put this on first, just with my finger, pop it on, then take my finger, go into the shimmer shade, pop it on my eyes, and then it goes from bold to bam. You just love it so much. I'm obsessed. You love it? I love it. I'm obsessed. I didn't buy a lot of palettes this year, but I sure as heck bought a lot of singles from ColourPop. I went out of my way to get a ton of Super Shock shadows this year and try their new Jelly Much formula, which I really like. All of these are definite wins for me for 2018. I really love when something is simple. Sometimes I need to be lazy but look like I wasn't lazy. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I literally have 10 minutes to do my makeup. That includes everything. And eyeshadow for me is one of my favorite things. It's my favorite. That's why I'm so shocked that I don't have more eyeshadow palettes. Boxycharm was feeding my eyeshadow beast monster that time, so I didn't have to go and buy a bunch, but I did get a bunch of these Super Shock shadows and the Jelly Much, and I rave about them. You could put them in your crease, you could put them under your eye, you could put them on your lid, you can put them wherever you want. I love them. Mascaras, I'm not gonna sit on this too much because I know I talked about this a ton. You guys are the reason I talk about it though, because you introduced me to this. I was really struggling this year with getting an amazing mascara that wasn't gonna clump, that was gonna be able to compete with some of the expensive mascaras that I've tried that are good. I have really round eyes, so I feel like when a mascara only gives a little bit of color and a little bit of length, it's like, it's okay. But you guys introduced me to the Essence line, and I am forever grateful. Forever grateful. This is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect. This is my absolute favorite. Absolute favorite. But another one that is so close is the Volume Mascara. This has a nice curved wand to it, and it can really help curl your lashes and elongate them at the same time. I think these are great, and I have a hard time trying other mascaras now because I know how much I like these. So I'll put this on, I'll put on something else from Boxycharm, from whatever. I'll be like, no, next, give me this back. I'm such a snob about it now. But thank you guys for telling me about it. It was this year you guys were like, sister, try it, you'll love it. An inexpensive lash that I think everybody talks about, this isn't new, is the Ardell Wispies. These are things that I can reach for when I'm just wanting to not use something that's a little bit too much, because a lot of times when I have my other lashes, these are a lot more natural, and I like these. Something I definitely learned about this year is the Duo Brush On Adhesive with Vitamins. This is the glue that puts my eyes together legitimately. I have always struggled with those press tubes with adhesive. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have too much of a heavy hand. I don't know how long to wait for it to dry. I love to just apply this to my band, put it on, and then it goes so perfectly. You get the perfect amount of coverage. You know when it's going to be dry because it kind of changes color. You stick it on your eye and you're good to go. This literally took me one time to put these babies on. I didn't have to put it on 20 million times, which is a success with false lashes in my mind. Now we're finishing our face and we're setting everything down. I really, really love the Wet n Wild Natural Finish Face Spray. I've talked about this a lot. It's actually heavily compared to the Urban Decay All Nighter. I also liked the NYX finishing sprays as well. This one's actually in dewy because I haven't tried this in a while. And even though I have oily skin, sometimes I like to look dewy too. So in the wintertime, I feel like I can bust this baby out. Now, something else that I use as a secret weapon with sprays, and this is kind of controversial, I think, because not a lot of people liked this when it came out. I like it for something very specific. This is the ColourPop All-Star Setting Spray. Yeah, it's kind of an intense spray, and yeah, it has a slight smell to it. But what I really, really like to do is I'll set down my face and I'll spray my face down with my Wet n Wild. Let this sit, kind of like let it dry out. And then in my problem areas, which is my forehead and in between my eyes, like I said, I kind of get a little crinkly there. I have the Fisher forehead. Thanks, Dad. So what I do is I'll shake this up and I will spray directly in my problem areas, making no face at all. You know, do your mannequin face where you don't make any movements, and then you let that dry. That for me is like the second coat of fabulousness, and it helps keep those lines away so much longer. I don't know the science behind it. Please don't ask. I just know I like this for a second run as far as like my face set down goes. I just do. And I wanted to use this up anyway. It's kind of a big bottle, so I'm really grateful that I found a way to use it that is actually helpful, and I can get past the more intense mist and smell. I always end my face with some lippies after I kind of do all my face. This is gonna be no shock to you guys, but ColourPop. I have so many ColourPop. This is only some of my ColourPop collection. Some things they get rid of, so I have a few things in my collection that they don't sell anymore, so I sometimes do backups when I know something's going away. I really love their satin matte lip formula. I feel like that's a little less drying, but I also still like their matte stuff too. Like I love Beeper, I have Magic Wand, I have Notion, I have the Twirl, Aquarius. I love Aquarius. I also have Aquarius 2. That's one you guys asked me about a ton. I love these so much. And a liner, I don't reach for liners a lot, to be honest, but there is a liner here that I actually have that I like. That's the Jordana Easy Liner for Lips in the shade Tawny. I learned about this, I mean, a lifetime ago from Kylie Bybel. I still have it, and it works with so many of my nude lips, and it's very close to my lip shade, so it's pretty perfect. I don't use this a ton, but when I do need a lip liner, this is what I go with. Guys, these are all of my inexpensive drugstore things that I have been obsessed with in 2018, and I feel like there's a lot of new stuff here compared to last year. I was worried that I was being a creature of habit, and with some things I was. Like, I want to step out of my comfort zone a little bit with some more foundations. I want to try some different bronzers probably. I'm always down for a new highlighter, but I'm shocked at how little eyeshadow palettes I purchased myself from the drugstore. I feel like our variety is getting a little limited. ColourPop is always where it's at there too. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you happen to be new to my weird little channel, hi new friend. I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below to see all of the fun, loud, weird, unique videos I put out every single week. Bye friends.